as we respect the peaceful transition of power, that if there is any attack on the Garden State or on any of its communities from Washington, I will fight back with every fiber of my being.
However, if you try to harm New Yorkers or roll back their rights, I will fight you every step of the way.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has called for a special legislative session, saying lawyers from the Attorney General's office and my office have been preparing for a potential second Trump term for more than a year, and we are marshaling the arguments and evidence needed to be ready to challenge in court unconstitutional and unlawful federal policies and to mount robust and vigorous defenses of California's laws, policies, and programs. Niall Stanage, White House columnist for The Hill, pointed this out to us earlier today. He's here. David Drucker, senior writer for The Dispatch, author of In Trump's Shadow, The Battle for 2024 and the Future of the GOP. Gents, good to see both of you. Niall, is this just like the 2028 primary starting for the Democrats?
I think there is a little bit of the audition line beginning to form, particularly in the case of someone like Governor Gavin Newsom, who's obviously one of the people who's going to be mentioned in that respect. Now, to be fair, there are obviously policies that Democratic governors have massive problems with. We saw there Maura Healey from Massachusetts saying that her state would not cooperate in mass deportations. No surprise there. She doesn't believe that's the right policy, and she's going to try to resist it.
David, you would think when 56% of Americans support quote-unquote mass deportations, you saw big shifts towards Trump in Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and California, all the states that these governors are from, there would be some recognition of we want to try to meet Republicans halfway, but more importantly, a recognition that just the blanket resistance to Trump line didn't work this election.
Well, part of this is federalism, right? So these governors have their own constituencies, and they're going to try and serve them as best they feel they should. But part of this is politics. I've covered elections a long time. I've seen resounding victories. I've seen landslide victories. Politicians they don't roll over, they don't compromise, they don't play dead. Even when it would seem that their own voters supported the outcome of that election. They take a beat, they take a look at the political playing field, and they say, this is what I believe, this is what I think a majority of my constituents believe. And as Niall pointed out, Donald Trump is, and I don't mean this pejoratively, he's a lame duck in that he cannot run for re-election, even though he is now back in the White House in a sense for the first time.
Your book, In Trump's Shadow, The Battle for 2024 and the Future of the GOP. The future of the GOP is now decided, right? This is now Donald Trump's party. This is a MAGA party.
Well, not only that, as I reported in the book, it was going to be a MAGA-esque party, but with Donald Trump winning and the way that he won, it is clearly going to be a conservative populist party rather than a traditional conservative party. And it's going to be interesting to see how both sides of the aisle sort of deal with this going forward.
I'm going to add one line. Tell me if you agree, and we'll get Niall on this. An anti-establishment party. And we saw, for example, in Nebraska, an anti-establishment Democrat who ran as independent. He was a Kellogg's cornflakes worker. Got 48% of the vote against a sitting Republican senator. Is there something for Pritzker and Newsom and Kathy Hochul, who are about as machine politicians as you get, that the lesson from Tuesday may not have been so much just conservative, liberal, or Republican, Democrat, but anti-establishment versus establishment?
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's absolutely an anti-incumbent, anti-establishment, anti-elite sentiment out there. There is also, frankly, a lot of pain out there, a lot of disaffection, a lot of people feeling dislocated, not just from the political system, but from any sense of community and all of that. I do think that one of the things that is a fairer criticism of Kamala Harris than some of the other things I've heard is that she didn't really seem to understand that point, that there were people in real pain or very disaffected with the political system. And I think Trump, whether you love him or loathe him, is much better capable of acting as a sort of voice for that sentiment.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below. to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.